Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFR. Today we are here on the ground at San Bernadino with the PMDG 737-700. As you can see in front of us, we're in the old school Southwest livery. I tried to download the Delta one, which it should be, but didn't quite get there. So yeah, if you're just still waiting on your download, you can live vicariously through us as we fumble our way through the 737 here at San Bernadino. And KR Productions, welcome aboard. The website is having a hard time. It's not, maybe I shouldn't advertise, but I found that just refreshing a bunch helped me get through. Of course, that's, I'm sure, not what the systems administrator wants. But that's what did it in the end. So yeah, we were able to hack our way through the system, get our download link, and actually it loaded into the sim pretty quickly. I was kind of surprised by that. But yeah, it loaded up pretty much without any problems. It was, I had seen people loading in, taking like half an hour to load in. And we didn't, so that was good. So we're here on the ground again. And this is going to be very much a live learning look behind the curtain at what someone does when they don't know what they're doing. Because I have not flown a 737 in my modern simulating career. I've flown a lot of CRJ, so this is actually kind of a semi-realistic career path. If you were trying to simulate an American regional pilot going to Southwest or somewhere. But I have watched the videos, I have taken some notes, and we will see. But yeah, so far, all is well. So let's hop up into the flight deck. And it's a lot more noisy up here in the 737-700. Obviously, lots of things going. It spawned me in with ground power on, lots of things on, no engines. But again, we're just kind of out on the ramp at San Bernadino. All sorts of ground equipment around us. No, again, when I kind of pitched this to myself, we were picking up an old Delta 737-700 that's stationed here in storage at San Bernadino. But I forgot to download the right Delta livery, or I tried to, but it didn't come down. So we're going to go with the old school Southwest one anyway. And we'll take this somewhere. I don't know where we're going to go just yet. San Bernardino, for those of you who don't know, we can, well, you probably don't want to look at the EFB, do you? But we'll look at it now. San Bernardino. Could at least get it all set up before I pulled it up. It's a little ways outside of Los Angeles. So we will be getting there soon. Where's my edge? Sky Vector. There it is. So still getting a little configured, but yeah, so San Bernardino, we are way out. That's McClellan, that's San Francisco. I'm not good with my Californias. But Ontario, out here. This is LAX down here. We are out, not quite Riverside, not Chino, not Ontario. Where are we? I don't even know where we are. KSBD. And so, I mean, let's just KLAX for reference. We're all the way out here, kind of right before the SoCal becomes the desert. So that's a 60-mile flight. That could be worth doing. We could just shoot an ILS approach, but we will figure all that out. Let's get back to the actual airplane. So yeah, this is just as I've loaded it in for the first time, actually. So I haven't actually touched anything. I haven't messed with anything. This is exactly how it loaded up originally. And so, let's see. First things first, I'm going to get a couple custom views going just because that's a good thing to do. And we're going to be having to look down at this FMS a little bit. And so it's going to be a little bit of trial and error, but I like to set these custom views just so that we'll call that number 2 on mine. And then we'll do a little slide over to the center panel for the center one. And then let's just set a quick rough overhead panel too. You can't quite get all those switches, that's all right. That's probably fine right there. So let's save that as overhead. Okay. So now I can jump between that. I can go down to the center, or I can go down to the FMS. And again, I cannot stress how much I've never flown a 737 in sim or in real life. So this is all very, very much a learning experience for me. I've watched some of the videos. I haven't gone through the whole 737 NG driver. That's a good, probably week's worth of video watching. But those are really great. But if you're coming in cold to an airplane you've never flown before, some of it can be kind of hard to get your mind around. So I like to get up and running. When I'm checking out a new airplane, if it's relatively complex, I like to try and get flying as quickly as possible. I really started flight simming seriously with DCS. And so you could spend a long time doing all the startup sequences and everything in those jets and get up into the air and realize, it's kind of not that much fun to fly. But 737 is a little different. This is very systems heavy. So we've got our overhead panel here. And I guess when we're running through our checks, I guess it runs left to right. And of course, if anyone has 737 experience in the chat, feel free to help pour me out. I also have I do have the documentation up. We can kind of get that set up too. But again, this is all very, very much raw, just hanging out and learning some 737 stuff. So let's just look around. I do have to like the fuzzy seats. And so far, I mean, I'm not in anywhere crazy built up, but my performance is pretty responsive. Got a little clipboard where the EFB would be. We can come down here and let me just get kind of situated. So PMDG setup, this is where I guess we go into all the PMDG stuff. We're in 5077 Julie. Oh, so that is what it is in, so that's based off of what I have in the actual Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's restore original, I guess. This is all the equipment stuff. We're not going to get too far into this. This is going to take a lot more time to actually go into. But your Collins, your Honeywell, that does change. So all that is fine. I think this should, if I understand correctly, this should come with the configuration of the Southwest jet. Whatever this registration is. 550WN. So 557 Whiskey November. That should be fine. Okay, so where is... And this is... If you are familiar, this may be hard to watch too, because I'm figuring out, where the back button is. How do I get out of this? Turn to setup. Sure. Turn to meta. So again, it's very much wayfinding. But that's fun. And so, I mean, if you've been flying the CRJ a lot in Microsoft Flight Simulator and you haven't flown a lot of other sims, maybe you're newer to the flight sim hobby, maybe this will be somewhat informative. Okay, so this is 737-700. That is correct. And let's just see what buttons I got. I got init ref. So that's like my perf init. This is the N1 limit, so the derating page. Takeoff. Okay. And so if I wanted to go to... So route, I guess this is kind of like the flight plan page. And progress. So yeah, I'm just clicking on stuff and making sure this all looks good. All right. So we have, it looks like we are in a configuration with ground power on. And I haven't messed with mouse interaction or anything. We'll look at that later on, but this is all pretty good. Flight model. PMDG 737 disc would not do what they... I really just want a basic tutorial, maybe. So am I in the tutorial? Yeah, okay. And I've got just the PMDG tutorial up. I can throw that in a window, most likely. So, yeah. So I've just got the tutorial up on my other side. So we can, we'll be basically running through this. Well, that we've done this, I've selected a departure airport. Now, where do we want to fly to? That's a good question. So we're in San Bernardino. What I really want to do, I don't want to get too high or too fast or worry about anything. So I am thinking LAX. Just fly down to LAX and we'll try and shoot an approach into one of the runways there. We are on live weather, so we can be good pilots and figure out the METAR. So we are at Kilo Sierra Bravo Delta. Sierra Bravo Delta, San Bernadino International Airport. Wind is 9 knots, 220. 7-mile visibility. 70 degrees, scattered clouds, 29901. And just for my reference, KLAX is going to be 14 knots, 260. So it sounds like LAX would be landing. So what are my options? 2 5s or the 7? Okay, yeah. So we'll be landing west. Yeah, we could pick any of those 2 4 or 2 3 2 5 runways. So that's pretty good. So I'm just setting up a quick flight plan in Simbrief. Scheduled, that'd be a 50-minute flight time. That seems kind of long. 2 4 out of San Bernadino, 2 5 left. That's fine. We'll have 0 passengers, 0 freight. We'll be Southwest 9800 for this one. And that's JLI Vista 3. Oh, that sends me all the way down. Okay. I may not even worry about that. We might just fly to a waypoint. If we depart San Bernardino, we fly out to, say, let's say RAL, Romeo Alpha Lima. And then, I mean, into LAX, we could take any of the ILSs, any of the RNAVs. So we could take 2-5 right is a perfectly fine runway for us. I don't want to kick all the way out. Like so Simbrief is giving me a real flight, and I don't really want that. I just want to fly in somehow. But again, some of these... LAX is a big... Churndo would be fine. So we can go Churndo into the ILS. TRNDO. So Tango Romeo TRNDO. And then we can kind of go from there. So... So if we go back here again, just if we look at it on this map, we're here at San Bernardino. We're just going to fly kind of up the valley over the city and fly into LAX on one of the ILSs. Nothing too crazy. Now I do need to fire up the actual overlay too. That's about it. All right, so thanks for coming along. We are getting set up here. We're going to follow the tutorial a little bit and get it going. So where are we at? We've selected departure, we've selected a weather. That's all fine. We're going to murder some of the procedures, and that's all right. Line select keys. All right, so entering data in the scratch pad, that's all fine and all well and good. So let's see. A lot going on. And so fuel. I just need to get to the start of the tutorial at this point. So fuel and payload setup is a good place to start. We can bring the yoke down. I think we've already done that. And we need to pan and zoom until we're down there. Scratch pad, okay. And we can click each key, that's good. We're using pounds, so that's good. So if we go back all the way out, so here's a previous page and the next page. So menu. We can load ourselves up with some fuel. What does SimBrief give us? Not really an amount that's enough to... Yeah, I can't. I just can't focus. It's just oddly loud at the lowest setting in that player. I don't know why. 8674. Really? That's a lot of fuel. So we've got 24,000 on board now. 8674 is what it's giving me in SimBrief. So we'll go, I don't know, 15,000 pounds of fuel. We can exec that. And then that's fine. Fuel. Payload, we're going to have, we'll say there's 25 people in economy. Eating first class, a little bit of a celebratory party for everybody coming along. And that's pretty good. So just messing around now. Now we have some services. So we have ground power, maintenance. Oh, so you have different, interesting, okay. I do appreciate how quiet it gets when you go out. Okay, so well, that's fine. We're working on that. This may look... All right, so here we go. So pause in it, airport entry, departure entry, en route entry, star, and approach entry, and route activation. So I assume we init ref will get me to perf init. Do I need one more? Okay, so that is my airplane. So pause init. We are at Sierra Bravo Delta. Okay, so that's good. And now we're going to go route. And our origin, KSBD. And we'll rock up to KLAX. And we are SWA. What did I say, 9,800? And I think SimBrief gave us 2-4, so let's take runway 24. Not worrying about any company route yet. Oh, okay. So that's flight number. That's our route. Okay, good. Okay, and now we're looking for the depart page. Oh, here. Depart. SBD, we're going to take 2-4. We're not going to worry about anything too crazy. And arrival into KLAX. I'm not going to worry about any stars right now. We're just going to do whatever ILS I pulled up. I think that was 25 right. Yeah, 25 right. So the ILS for 25 right. And next page probably. Flight slip on, and we wanted the transition. Trundo. Not gonna worry about a star. Exact that. So those are all the departures. Looks like we've got some stuff happening here. Ooh, okay. I can go all the way out. And it should at some point show me there. So there's our arrival. That's good. And I did have something else I wanted to put in, and that was Romeo Alpha Lima. So how do I put that into the FMS? Oh, okay, so I can save it. Okay, interesting. Takes the... Okay, so I gotta back up. Where am I at? Departure. Back to the route page. Next page. Okay. And then we're gonna not have a via. We're just going to Romeo Alpha Lima. Just a VOR we've set up. Can exec that. So now we got to verify legs. So let's go to the legs. So we're just going direct RAL and then discontinuity. So I do have some bad memories of trying that in the CRJ and it just destroying everything. It would always freeze up if you did it on the wrong page. Okay, so wait. All right. Kathleen, welcome aboard. Hacked away through PMDG by refreshing the page once I got to so I got my email like 45 minutes after I ordered it, and then it was like after 6:20, just refreshing on the download link. I actually think I copy pasted my order number into the URL and it took me right to that page, but it was kind of finicky. And after that, just patience. And then Spider, no EFB. Yeah, I don't know why. My understanding is it's a compatibility issue with the old code for P3D. Whatever that means in developer. Okay, so I gotta get rid of this. So do I do it here maybe? I don't know. Okay, so then they get into performance. We'll come back to this. But that looks reasonably right. Once we get to RAL, we'll go over to Trundo. In fact, what I could do is just put in Trundo on the route. I see. Okay. So I'm just trying to work too hard. Okay, so performance data and vertical path initialization. Ah, so very fancy. So we're going to hit init ref, perf init. So next to 0 fuel weight, that'll give us the correct value. Is that what it's saying? Okay. Then work with my reserves. So we're saying 4.0. I don't think that's going to be right in our case because I mucked with things. But that's okay. Cost index can be, we'll go with 80 because that's what they say. Cruising altitude, yeah, I mean, I'd say we'd get up to 10,000. Maybe. And go for that. Transition altitude, we're not going to worry about that. We're 18,000. We're in the States. And yeah, okay, so that's good. We're at 10,000 feet. So it's added in a couple little turns. Okay, so that looks reasonable. And now if we come here, we should see the predicted altitudes and speeds. Well, it's just going to show the ILS, really. So my perf init doesn't look like that. I don't know how much of that is just trying to go straight to a waypoint though. Okay, so that's invalid. Interesting. Okay. Let's try 250 and say, I don't know, 4,000. Okay, so it liked that better. And was I missing something in plan fuel? No. So that's all filled out fine. Bruce Buy Now is not available now? They ran out? Wow. Wow. I hope they make more. I hope they make some more. And I'm sure they will. All things considered, it could have been, I thought, sure, it's frustrating to not, get it immediately. But, and yeah, given the crush of people, it could have been a lot worse. I've seen much, much worse. But it does make you thankful for the age of the internet we live in. Okay. I'm getting set up now. And if you're just joining us, we are bumbling our way through the 737 setup. Basically, we're following the tutorial. I have flown the CRJ in Flight Sim, and that's pretty much it. I've dabbled with just a skosh of A32NX, but not enough to really feel comfortable with it. But a lot of the stuff's the same, so hopefully we'll figure it out. So N1 limit we are on to. So Snip took the refreshing and downloading, or took the refreshing trip or tactic, but that worked. So that's good, man. Welcome aboard. And Stephen, no, this is not a pre-release copy. I'm not that cool. This is a post-release after hacking my way through the system and refreshing and downloading and throwing my digital elbows. Okay, so N1 limit. This is all fancy stuff that I really don't mess with in my little regional jet. We're going to do a combination of fixed D rate and an assumed temperature takeoff to save wear and tear on the engines. Okay. So if we if we hit this one, we're takeoff 2 D20. So that's a 20 KD rate. Okay, so that's taking off the top. Additional assumed temperature of 40 C. Is that what I want? Okay, so we'll get more into that down the line, but that's just fine for us for now. So takeoff, ref. So we are going to set flaps 5, which is the standard and should work for most normal situations. Okay, perfect. Speak my language. And then this will just populate our VR and our CG, I think. Does that come in, or do we have to look that up? Yeah, 3 left. Okay, so 20.6 is our CG. And we've got a V1 of 122, rotate 122, V2 of 127 knots. And we should see that come in here. So we do have a V1 on the displays. Man, I do really like the displays. Coming from the CRJ, the displays are small, especially when you're out at this view. So this is, I do enjoy the displays being a lot bigger already. All right, so flight plan route shift when we enter the V speeds. Yeah. I'm sure they account for the differences between what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. Are these my... So this is my... This changes what I'm looking at. How do I change? And this changes the range I'm looking at. And those are all buttons that do something. So takeoff ref. Okay, let's get back to this. Takeoff ref is fine. Let's exec that, and that should do it. How do we see the wing view, Mohammed asks. Let's see. I haven't mucked around with this. I'd imagine it's one of the... Oh, there it is. So that was external view. It's the first external view. I have it mapped. So when I set mine up like DCS, so I have F3 to be external view. And then we can cycle through them. These are all wing views, different wing views, different wing views. Some more wing views. Oh, a top view, bottom view. Good selection. Nice big windows. So these are the actual external views that come pre-packaged. Or the wing views, so they're under external views. So you may have to change the mode. So like, we're in drone camera now. If you change the mode, we're now in those fixed views. I can't remember what the default keybinds are, really. And if we come in here, we can sit in the cabin. That's not actually that bad. As far as cabins go. Nope. I'm through the roof. And so actually performance, I mean, well, we haven't flown yet. But performance so far has been pretty good for me. Now, I also kind of went through the, get into the CAC. That's actually interesting. Of course, I don't know how much of that is. I spent a lot of time yesterday getting ready for this, troubleshooting my setup, changing some settings with graphics cards and stuff, because I was losing weird FPSs at some payware airports, and it was like killing my recording frames. Anyway. So I changed graphics card settings, and we've got a lot better now. So long story short, that's wing view. Servers, Bruce says servers at PMDG are overloaded. Yes, very much so. Very much so. Victims of their own success. And Steven, I don't think it's a game-breaking bug. I've seen just a little bit of Twitch of people playing it and going okay. And they may, Snip, that's a good point. They may not be generating keys fast enough. Who knows? It's that is interesting that they shut it down. But, yeah, not to fear. And it'll be back up, I'm sure. It seems to be working here. Oh, I shouldn't just click things. I mean, it seems to be loading pretty well in my sim. I didn't have any game-breaking bugs getting into this point. Of course, we haven't flown anything yet, but we will see. I wonder where they would actually store this plane. Probably somewhere out over there, maybe. I don't know. San Bernadino. Maybe out on that pad. We're kind of out of place with all these little airplanes. Okay. So that's pretty good. We now need to configure the rest of our flight deck. So takeoff trim in the pedestal. I can also use my... Can I use my trim wheel? Oops. What am I doing? Or do I have to retrim everything? Do I actually have control here? Yeah, it looks like I do. Okay. So I assume we'll put it by the big 5. Okay, so that's... Oh, so that's an takeoff ref. They give me a takeoff trim. 6.02 is what we're going to. So we hold down the wheel. And that's close enough for government work. And so they say, okay, so they say it's going to seem very slow. Interesting. Okay, cool. I do like precise trim. And then we're setting flaps 5. So let's just make sure my flap bindings work. So that would be what, 1 click? Let's go look. No, 3 clicks. Okay, so that's flaps 5. Auto brakes to RTO. RTO's rejected takeoff. Cabin view is low quality, Bruce says. I don't know, man. I kind of like it. It's, I mean, they were talking about it a lot, and I don't think that's that bad. That's on par with the CRJ. I was expecting worse in the cabin. This texture isn't real, It's fine, but it's hard to sit in the cabin anyway. So that's set up, and now we need to configure some stuff on our autopilot panel. So now this is what I'm really intimidated by. Pan up to select NCP speed knob to V2. MCP speed. So is this the speed knob to V2, which is 127? We'll call it that. Oh, 147. Oh, well, we're really light, so that's why that would be. So, yeah, 127 then. Our heading knob to runway heading at San Bernardino. Runway heading is going to be a cool... Let's look at the chart. Runway heading is going to be a cool 238.8. So we can go down to 238. Cool 23.8 or 238.8. Our initial altitude is going to be our final altitude, 10,000 feet. That's fine. And turn our flight directors to the on position. So that's this switch here and this switch here. So we want flight directors on. Both of them. That is important. We can arm the auto throttle. What's an auto throttle? By clicking the switch. Auto throttle arm. AT arm. That should show arm. Okay. And then we can arm LNAV and VNAV mode. Pressing LNAV and VNAV buttons. We should see LNAV appear in small white letters at the bottom of the FMA roll. Well, I do not see that. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So it should light up. Okay, so why is that not lighting up? Is it something I did? So altitude 10,000. Heading that. Auto throttle's on. That's all well and good. Yeah, and it should be coming in here, but it's not for some reason. The only other thing I could think is I didn't do something right in the FMS. Right click maybe? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm clicking it. It's just not lighting up. So it looks like that's all configured. So it's probably something in here. That's fine, yeah. No, I don't want that. Because, yeah, that should be coming up here. Am I... Let's see. So that's annoying. Okay. Tigos ref. Yeah, okay. Got trim on. We got flaps in. This allows the autopilot's modes, but I got both flight directors on. Yeah, it's worth it. We'll start up and then just keep it rolling. It may come back, it may not. Alright, so electronic flight instrument system, EFIS, is going to be down here. We could, just for practice, we could squawk 1, 2, should be 0, 0. And that just puts us on. Okay. Set the map display to 10. So we'll bring it all the way in. Now that's still dotted, and it should be magenta. What did I do there? So maybe I haven't... maybe I haven't activated it. There it is. Okay, so I got LNAV now. That's good. So route data. Maybe it just doesn't like that my VNav setup. I may also, let's see. Do I even have my IRSs online? Let's come up and see. Electric 1 and 2. So are they... We're both in nav. Okay, so that's on. That's good. So that looks better. And we'll be following that outbound. Press the engine button above the upper engine display unit twice. Okay, so I can display it there, I can display it there, and I can display it compactly. And if I hit data here, I don't really have a good flight plan to see some of this. But you can see we've got a little bit of magenta going out that way. Any entered crossing altitudes, does it show that? Yeah, we'll get up and get going. I think it does. All right, so a few things that we need to look at in the near the front of the panel. They say landing lights would have to go on. Nav lights probably should be on. So we've got logo lights. We've got position and strobe on steady. Anti-collision lights can come on. Where are my nav lights? Oh, no, those are nav lights. Okay. Seatbelt signs to on. Seatbelts, that's just the chime. Okay, center fuel pumps to off. They, looks like they are off. Our cruise altitude's 10,000, so if we come over here, maybe I need to, so 10,000 there. What does that say, 300? I think LAX is lower than that, but that's okay. And then they give us an overhead view of what it should look like. Just moving left to right. That's all going okay. We'll turn on all that stuff when we're ready. So I'll find these are emergency exit lights. Looks like we've got our packs on. We don't have an engine started though, so let's turn that off. Okay. And we're not to take off yet, so... Did I miss engine start? What's going on here? All right, whatever. So let's go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff around our airplane. Air stairs, ground power, and the batteries. So batteries on. I think we have GPU on. No, ground power is not on. We must be on APU. Well, no, that says APU. What are we doing? I'm not sure this tutorial is helping me out. Okay. So APU start, my notes. I'm going back to my notes. Aft fuel pumps on. And APU start switch. Down to start. And then we're going to turn Okay, so that's coming to life. That's doing something. APU bus switch. Click on. Looks like they are clicked on. And ground power is... I don't think I was ready. A little too eager. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff too. So back to FS actions, maybe. And ground services. I didn't want that. Nope. 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 We're getting some kind of power. So we'll go over to APU, I guess. Should be able to click that and it doesn't do anything now. Okay, so I think we're on APU. They're connecting stuff, which isn't really what I wanted. Let's remove wheel chocks. How do I get rid of air stairs? Next page, maybe. Stairs disconnecting, that's good. Looks like no one's boarded. Which is okay. And the loaders are departing too. Okay, so that looks like it works okay. Okay. PMDG has good tutorials on YouTube. They do. That is true. Yeah, the real hair on the seats. My graphic settings aren't helping that. But it is a good looking cockpit. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to take this from the top. Battery is obviously on. Emergency exit lights are armed. We've done all that. We've aligned our IRSs. So is parking brake on? I think it is now. Oh, we got position lights on, logo lights on, yaw damper. I believe that's up at the top. Should come on. Overhead guards down. Okay, so all those guards are down. That's good. Then just go through each of these. Flight controls. Yaw dampers down. These are okay. Fuel pumps. Not yet. Top to bottom. That's all good. Wipers are parked. Here's our start. Window heat. Can go on. Probe heat after engine start. Our hydraulics. We'll bring all of them on. Cabin pressure is looking okay. And then the passengers on this one, I think, are going to get what they get. We'll go with passenger cabin, auto. Again, restart can come on once we'll hit all that once we get the engine started. Cruise out is set down here. Okay, and we're back to APU start. Okay. And we've set all of our FS actions. Fuel loaded is done. We've done all that FMS stuff. So we're pretty much ready to go. Now we're just going to start start on stand, so to speak, here. And see if we can actually do this. So if I am not mistaken, we have to come here. And maybe. And then start engine 1. Or maybe it was engine 2 I was supposed to do. These are all good questions. Or do I need the ground? See if I can dig up a 737 checklist here. So we're pushed. Okay. Ignition selector left, or right, or both. And yeah, so guard, and then we're looking for N2. I don't have an N2 on here. APU bleed. That's probably it, Nathaniel. Thank you. So, yeah, and bleed, that is one, that is going to be somewhere around here. We need APU bleed. Fuel pumps. Fuel pumps might help, too. These are hydraulics. APU bleed. And then do I need fuel pumps? Maybe not. Oh, all on, no cross feed. So we'll try that. And hey, we've got something. Something's happening. 28.6. So now I just got to come down and bring it out of idle. And let it do its thing, I think. There we go. We got something. We got something. Yeah, so APU bleed, that's a good one. That's something you check off in the CRJ, but because of the way Airsoft has it configured, you never really have to touch it. I don't want to do that yet. So VNAV's coming in. LNAV isn't coming in. That's weird. So that's 55%. Wait till the left engine start switch returned to off. Okay, so that's good. So we can come down to ground. Start the right engine. We might almost figure this out like real fake pilots. That's 20%, and we're good to go. So throttles do work. Does my speed brake work? Okay, that does work, yeah. Okay, cool. And then we wanted, oh, so this has to go over to what? Continuous? Oops. Oops. Sorry, engine. Getting ahead of myself. Yeah, thanks, Nathaniel. Yeah, we've all been at that point at some point. You're like scratching your head. I've been through this all. And my notes, admittedly, aren't great. I watched British Ab Geek's video earlier today, and we just wrote it all down. But, this got us most of the way there, and it spawned me in a pretty good position. So once that comes back to off, we can go to continuous. 59.8. Okay, so that's all good. We are here, and ready to rock. Now, if I were to... Is there anything else I'm missing? We can bring the APU off. Auto. APU bleed off. It is yelling at me. Didn't like that. Why is it not liking that? What's going on? Is it because my APU... Oh, my generators need to be on? That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, take power out of the... Okay, I gotcha. So power needs to come off the APU and under the generators. Hey, this is why we do it. So that's APU off. Seems to have recovered pretty well, though. So thanks all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are on the ground here at San Bernadino Airport, Sierra Bravo Delta. We're going to be taking our Southwest, the new VFR Flight Test 737. From San Bernadino, we're going to do a quick flight up to LAX. We're going to try one of the approaches into runway 25, right? Should be about a 40-minute flight, maybe. And we're going to go up to 10,000 feet. Packs are on. Pitot heat can come on. We probably don't need any anti-ice. Window heats are on, I believe. Yaw dampers on. Flaps are flaps 5. Are flaps actually flaps 5? They are. That's good. And we will try arming. I don't know why my LNAV is not arming. Still. Auto brakes RTO pushback is done. We can put our taxi lights on. When we turn off, lights can go on. And TCAS is in TA already. So I give us clearance to taxi. It's only been an hour and 7 minutes, so let's move this airplane. And we'll get back onto the tutorial here, too. We're going to go out to runway 24 here at San Bernardino. Get ready to fire off that. Yeah, MCDU. Parking brake off. Let's just really add a little bit of power. Where did I put parking brake on? Oh, so parking brake is off now. So it's in. Yeah, okay. Trying not to hit any little planes. And we are away. So San Bernardino. We are kind of out on the far end. I think we want to go down that way. Get a good look. We got lights on. Flaps are out. We get a little wing view going. And we want to go all the way down. So let's taxi all the way down. And we are moving. Engine generators aren't on. Thought we'd hit that. Or you might be talking about the earlier thing too. Yeah, so manual power management, which one's feeding what power is all somewhat new to me. Again, flown a lot of CRJ, which handles a lot of that stuff kind of on its own. You don't really have to mess too much with it, other than making sure you don't shut down the APU without any engines running, or vice versa. But we're able to salvage it, and we're rolling down to runway 24 now. Again, this was just a... the impetus for this flight is, truth be told, a delivery flight in 2022 would really be you buying up someone else's old airplane. They don't really make these anymore. The 737 next generations, anyway. They've made them since, like, 2011, I think, so when production ended. So, while renting is cool, I just don't have the rent and scenery. Probably couldn't handle it. And so I figured we'd pick up an airplane that's actually in storage and fly it around. This is supposed to be, in real life, a Delta airplane. November 309 Delta Echo is the tail number stored here at San Bernadino. I think Delta bought it in the early 2000s. And it's been stored for the last year and a half or so, 2 years. So a decent candidate for us to pick up. Boring history, though, because it was just Delta all the way through. Some of the airplanes come, so especially some old Southwest 737s have been around the world quite a bit. And so far, I'm pleasantly surprised. Well, I don't know about surprised. I'm pleasantly happy with the performance we're getting. It's pretty responsive. And part of that is me taking some time to empty stuff out yesterday, but also it seems to handle it pretty well. I was kind of bracing for the worst. Now, the other thing that would be good to know is lights. But that'll take some reflection. We're going to go all the way to the end. All the way to the end. And let's read the section on takeoff. What does PMDG want me to do for takeoff? So, if takeoff, release parking brake. Smoothly advance thrust levers to 40% in one. I'd heard 30%, but 30 to 40%, sure. They'll have to spool up a little bit, and then around 50% N1 it'll bite, and then accelerate very quickly. But once it takes a while to get from idle to 40%. So throttle up to 40%, hold it with the brakes on, and then we can hit toga. Now I hope my toga button works. I don't know that it does, but hopefully. Or we can click the screw. Which screw is it? Here, that screw should be toga, if we need it. And then that'll just go to the takeoff limit, give us flight director bars. We have VNAV, we don't have LNAV, which is the other thing. And Nathaniel, you got through. Congratulations. Congratulations, you got through. And then once I got past the licenses and everything, it really was pretty quick. I think it was like it might have been 6 or 7 gigabytes, but it all went pretty smoothly after that. So why is this button on? I still don't have LNAV, which is concerning me. It tells me I have something wrong with my flight plan. And LNAV is lateral navigation, which is kind of the one I want. So if we go, let's make sure we have pause in it. Right before we line up. Okay, we'll try that. Maybe it just has to, maybe it's not pointing in the right direction. LNAV is funky, okay. Well, let's line up and see. There's no one else here. LNAV is funky. Okay. So let's line up more or less on center line. We've got our runway heading 238. We'll hold that until we get everything figured out. Let's see. We want to maintain small amount of forward pressure on the yoke until we hit 90. Maintain the center line. Once we hit V1, we're flying. We're not going to reject the takeoff. When we hit VR, we'll rotate, which in our case, VR, V1 are 122 both, so we're very light today, no passengers or anything. We'll raise landing gear with our gear key, and then we'll follow the flight director. Let's see, is LNAV going to come in? I didn't like that with my auto throttle. Oh, and I completely forgot about my... So, my flight dispatcher, let's sit on the ground a little longer. KSBD to KLAX, and we are Southwest Airlines 9800. Completely forgot about that. All right, so we'll give it a shot. Let's see. And if I... So if LNAV doesn't work, we'll just throw it into heading select mode and troubleshoot from there. But it's not a complicated flight. So let's talk ourselves through this one more time. We're going to go spool up until we hit 30 to 40 and 1. At that point, we will hit toga. And I think auto throttle takes it. And then we will keep forward pressure until 90 knots, rotating at V1, or rotating at VR 122, which is also our V1 for today. So let's bring it up. We're looking for an N1. I'm too fast. Too much. Okay, so I see what I did there. I went up past it, I think, and disarmed the auto throttle. So let's reset idle power. And just gently bring it forward. That's 37. It's close enough to government work. Let's go toga mode. Releasing brakes. A little bit of forward pressure. Although my auto throttle's gone, I don't know why. So releasing the back pressure. Expecting a V1 rotate call out. Pulling back on the stick. Away we go. We are flying.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear coming up. Uh-oh, I'm losing an engine. Why am I losing an engine? Must have nudged my throttles. Alright, so our automation isn't doing too great, but that's... was always going to be kind of the tricky bit. Alright, so let's follow our flight directors. We've got LNAV now, so that's good. That's a start. And And we've got VNAV 2. So let's see if the autopilot will take control. So that must be the trim wheel. Okay. So we have all that. I have lost speed. I don't know why I've lost speed. That's okay, and we're going up to an altitude of 10,000 feet. So the airplane is flying now. Gear is up. Don't chase the bars, but try to follow them. And past 400 feet, we are past 400 feet. All right, so our hands are off the autopilot. And we can bring auto brakes now to off. And it's taking me up to... Now my gut is telling me flaps up, but I don't know that. Auto throttle's still doing its thing. We're at 4,000 feet now. Okay, so it's... I put in that altitude constraint at 4,000. Okay. So the airplane is being smarter than I would, which is good. And flying to 4,000 feet, and it should hit 4,000 feet, 250 knots, because that's what I told it to do. Okay, so... Then once it hits that, it should probably rocket up pretty good. 1,500 feet, acceleration height. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so there's markers in the speed tape I missed for flaps, but that makes sense. And then we just want to make sure that our heading is aligned. Why would it do... What am I doing? Oops, what did I do? I don't think I did it. Oh, no, it's turning. Okay, we're good. So that's that. We're turning the heading knob. All right. So we're flying. We're flying in the 737, everybody. We're climbing out of San Bernadino, doing a quick hop up to Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. Getting a nice wicked stutter. But so far, so smooth. We are projected to be there in a good 10 minutes at 42 Zulu. So thanks for coming along. Thanks for bearing with us as we learn this airplane. It's a lot of fun. The screens are nice and big. And I am more used to babysitting the airplane than that. Of course, we didn't hit the clock button, so what good is that? And so this is 550WN, Whiskey November. And hopefully it'll automatically hold 250. As we climb out over LAX. Let's get some window views going. Very nice. Alright, so I think I have the basics down. We'll see how landing goes, of course, but I think we're okay with the basics. Just as a first pass at it. This is much better than the first CRJ flight. Alright, And it's leveling me off at 10,000 feet, so that's good. And then it's going to hit me at Trundo, and we're going to have to decelerate. And then it puts me on it shunts me onto shell. And I haven't tuned this in very well. But it is a good question. So say we need to go down to 3,700 feet. How do we do that? I assume we'd punch it in here. And now I'm going 1,000 feet per minute. Where's my indicator? There it is. Go down 2,000 feet per minute. Oh, and so I got a green light. Okay, so this is all kind of coming together. Slowly but surely. As we begin our descent, just like that, into Los Angeles International Airport. A small airport, KLAX, if you've heard of it. I guess it's 5,000 at Trundo and above 3,700 at Shell. This is all happening kind of fast too, so let's see what they have to say about landing. Not worrying about heads-up guidance or anything. We'll also have to worry about going direct, and that's all well and good. So we look at our init ref. VREF at flaps 30 is 127. And they say we can look at this at the prog page. Okay. So I gotta say, first impressions, cockpit feels good to interact with. It's one of those things, but the buttons have a nice, really good clicky sound. The switches all, again, feel kind of responsive. The animations are not super. Not all of them are super fluid. So if I do my flaps, I'm not going to do flaps. But if I do it, you know, mess with speed brake, it's just not quite so crisp. Some of the textures could use some work. But overall, it's really, really, really nice. And it seems to be running pretty well, too. And we're doing LAX, which is, I believe, an Asobo handcrafted airport. So we will see as it gets a little bit closer in. But yeah, this might spit us out onto a fast ILS. I'm not going to worry too much about the rest of this. We're just going to really focus on getting down. So if we bring our speed back... 220. And then if we see the glide slope, we will arm it. Coming up on 5,000 feet now. And the localizer is going to be on 111.1. So let's get that into our radios. Do I have nav 1? 1111. So that's approach. We also have a VOR localizer mode. So does that mean this one? All right, so we're down at 220 now, 5,000 feet. We'll have one more turn to shell. And then we'll have to see if we get glide slope. So it's bringing the speed back, and then it should... down. Now, do I have the glide slope? We'll go norm approach mode and just see what that does, but... we got the runway, we got LAX over here. We're going for 2.5 right. We're down to 198 knots, which is, it's saying 188 here in the computer, and it'll take us down to 144 and 1900 at Fogla. Now we are well above our altitude, but it isn't above constraint. So we have some indication that we have a glide slope. There's probably a go around altitude I should know. As we turn out. Okay, so the basic stuff too. Don't want that. We will need flaps down and gear out. Reduce speed 180 and flaps 5. So at this point we're pretty high. I'm not loving what I'm seeing. And we should put gear into off. So that's flaps. That's flap 5, okay. So we are way high. It seems. We're only descending at 500 feet per minute. Yeah. We're not going to make this landing, probably. Oh, are there any reversers I should know about? Yeah, see, we're just descending to... I assume we need some auto brakes. We'll have to see what reversers are. If it's DC-6 style or CRJ style. Yeah, we're way too fast. All right. Going around. Speed brakes. I mean, I had the speed brakes out to slow myself down, but yeah, I don't know. All right, let's get that back up. And let's do a heading select. Let's just go up to like 3,000 or 4,000 feet. Try that out. So we'll keep it at like 188. We're at 3,500 feet again. And we'll basically vector ourselves back around. Give ourselves a little more room. I was coming in kind of spicy there. So that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. So let's make a left-hand turn, 160. And line back up. So if you're coming along, you've missed our first go-around. Just coming in too soon on the ILS. I don't think the airplane had enough time to really react. So we will hold that. We'll come around and we'll try and pick up the localizer again. So we've got the localizer tuned in. I've got a yellow thing here that I don't quite understand. But that's all right. We're going to hold here at 3,500 feet, 188 knots, and we'll just kind of loop back around and figure this out. So I'm making a stately left turn. Let's make a long base. And let me pull up this chart real quick. So about where we were is where we should be at for 3,500. LAX comes in pretty steep. Let's do a left-hand turn heading... Oh, I don't know. 075 C 7472. That all sounds pretty reasonable. We've got a VNAV disconnect. That's okay. We're kind of off the plan at this point. Okay, we're at that altitude. That's good. Get some wing views of LA. This whole auto throttle thing is kind of a nice deal. I can see why people would like this. Again, my kind of only experience is CRJ, and in this situation, you'd be constantly forgetting your speed. And 070 seems reasonable. So at this point, we can reprogram the ILS-25 right, or try to. No, wait, what? Oh, that's not a good sound. Oh, that's a shame. All right, so that crashed on us. Not quite one landing yet. So we will not have the same number of takeoffs as landings. I blame myself for that one. I don't know how this FMS works. And I'm just clicking stuff. So that's a good stress test. But, interesting. So we'll get this fired back up. I'm going to go grab a drink, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. So, yeah, little crash. And so Snip's still on the ground, assigning buttons and levers. So I don't know. That crash is not unexpected. I'm clicking stuff that I don't know. When you're fumbling around with an FMS, the CRJ does that to this day. If you do it wrong in the CRJ, if you try to hit a discontinuity in the wrong page, it will crash. It just does. So that's not unsurprising. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just fumbling through things. Hitting buttons a bunch of times, and it didn't like that approach when I tried to put the approach back in. So it probably doesn't work. I'm not using it as intended. I almost can guarantee you. However, yeah, we did have a crash. But that's all right. We're going to fire up another kind of more realistic flight, too. That might help. Just That might help keep things a little bit on the rails. Let's do... What's a good flight we can do? Let's get the FB up too. All right, so we're in Simbrief. Where can we go? I'm thinking a reliable departure out of our nation's capital. Let's create a new flight plan. Or maybe BWI. Do we have that BWI scenery involved? I do. A flight up to Philly is kind of, it's a dumb flight, but it's quick and good. So we could be Southwest something else. Southwest 402. Oh, this isn't gonna let me do that. So we can be Southwest. No, not any of the old flight numbers. 402. We'll depart KDCA and go into KPHL. Alternate KJFK. It's kind of a classic, more of a CRJ route, but that's all right. We'll park up. Where do they have a little blue airplane on this thing? All the way at the end. And let's pick up one of the newer Southwests. 268 win. We will do it on daytime from the gate. So JFK, we're going to be a Boeing 737-7. That's a scheduled flight time of 1 hour. METAR. DCA, we're at 7 knots, 050 at PHL. It shouldn't be that different. 10 knots is 080. So I'd imagine we're coming runway 1 out of DCA. So if we do just get our charts set up, DCA, taxi, and then we can clear out these charts. That's 1 hour. Doctor 5 DQO. Let's see what they do in real life. So there are a few flights between 9,000 and 11,000. Yeah, they're all doing Doctor 5 DQO transition. So that's what we'll do. We'll spawn in the same kind of configuration. You're at Reagan, and I want to add the jetway in. So let's get this set up. Let's do some updating. We'll be KDCA. PHL. Southwest 402. And that has pushed changes. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do this one. Let's make this a little more controlled. That's an airtime of about 31 minutes. Yeah, and then you're going Doctor 5 and then direct to Philly. So DCA, go back to where EFB. DCA is going to be here with the Doctor 5. And that spits us out to the north and just goes up to DuPont, DQO. And from there, we'll just put ourselves onto an approach for the runway in Philly. Go KPHL. And Philly is a... we'd probably come in 9 right. I can't remember if they land 9 right or 9 left. We may... I think they'd probably land 9 left, actually. Let's see what one of these guys did. This was a blue streak. Yeah, it looks like they came in on 9 right. So we'll pencil in 9 right. And did I get any... Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's get this going now. And I'm going to use this old one that I found on the internet just now. Parking brake should be set. Our red light should come out. We need to get the ground services going on. We want a jetway on the plane. We want to go to a jetway. And we want to see if we can get a jetway to connect. So let's let the stairs go away. So our stairs are gone. And we have a gate next to our Southwest friends. We do have baggage loaders going. So this is all fine, yeah. We'll have... SimBrief has given us block fuel at 9,760, so we'll go 12,000. And then ground service. I think we have the GPU cart hooked up, if I'm not mistaken. We do. Wheel chocks are set. Packs are on. We don't need cabin cleaning yet. We can request our baggage carts. And put a target of, I don't know, 6,000 pounds. Oh. Okay. And they're bringing the baggage up. Okay. So we checked our METARs, set up to our overhead panel, and start working. Oops, wrong way. We went on. So ground power on. We make sure our hydraulic pumps 2 are on. We turn them all off. Our IRSs are in nav. And I'll just leave this way for now. Okay, so let's get set up with this. Now, we need FMS. We need to come in here. Return menu. FMC. That's pretty good. So pause in it. We are at KDCA. And I could even throw in a gate. We are at gate. We'll see if it takes it. We're at gate 7. Try 07. Nah, alright, that's fine. Okay, and then route. We're going to go from KDCA to KPHL. We are Southwest 402. And we are taking off runway 1. Now to continue working perf in it, we can load our 0 fuel weight. We'll do a cost index of 80. Cruise altitude for today, they don't cruise much higher than 11,000 feet. So 11,000 feet will work for us. We can exec that. And then our N1 limit, we'll just go with TO2 rate again. What did they say the weather was here? 64, so maybe we'll go 35. That's pretty good. Takeoffs, we'll do flaps 5. We'll grab our CG and punch in our V1, V2, and VR. And that ought to do it. Okay. So that's set up now. We could just start messing around with the fire tests. I haven't done a ton of that because I like to keep it moving. Let's make sure I'm not hitting the actual buttons here. All right, cool. Stall warnings seem to be working. That's the Mach airspeed, so that's good. That's all right. I haven't messed around with that too much. All right, so now let's start working on... We got our parking brake on. We can start lighting up. So position lights can go steady. We'll turn on anti-collision too. Wings are fine. It's daytime, but that's all right. That's all pretty good. So heading up to overhead panel, let's work left to right. Flight control yaw damper on. That's all fine. We want our aft pumps for APU start. Landing lights are good. We are on battery. Power galley on. Coming down, we're still on ground power. Wipers are parked. APU is off. Circuit breaker light's fine. Emergency exit lights are on. Seatbelts can come to on. We'll make the chime sound because we can. So continue to move. Windshield heat, window heat on. Probes will leave off till engine start. Hydraulics we can put all on. Anti-ice is off for now. That's all good. So we can go passenger cabin. We'll leave all that in auto. This stuff can come on when we get going. There's our trusty APU bleed. We can turn that on. And yeah, 11,000 feet for our cruise altitude. Lights are all configured, and that's the overhead panel for now. All right, so we're good for APU start. So we've got aft fuel pumps on. And we can go ahead and knock it into APU start. Now I'm hoping that the baggage loaders have got what they need. So let's head back out and take care of our ground services. Let's release the jetway. Let's release... Oh, so we'd have to hit start to unload it. Oh, this is interesting. I do like that kind of system. That's helpful to have kind of built in. I don't know whether VFR maps come on. We do seem to have life on our APU. So once we have that, we can click our APU bus on. And now we're on APU. Ground power can come off. And we can release ground power. Other thing, we should probably close the door. So let's go ahead and do that. A good driverless baggage loader. And it is good that this all takes time. I do appreciate that. All right, so APU is on. We're on APU power. We've done all of our FMS programming. We need to plug in our route. So this is kind of where I'd probably start thinking about clearances. But we're departing on the Dr. 5 DQO transition off of runway 1. And that deleted my takeoff speeds, so sure. And then arrival, we're looking at, what do we say, ILS 9 right. So if we go to Philadelphia, so we've got a, so 9 right Victor is the converging. So let's just go the 9 right Zulu ILS. And no, we do not want Medina. We want glide slope on. So there's our first legs. We can go back to route, and there's actually nothing else to do. So if we go route, next, DOO, and it's sending me to, I kind of want B-Wine. And then Asoki. Activate the route and exec it. So that'll give us a little magenta line we can follow. And then next we want to set our departure altitude and runway heading. So let me just save this to my chart. Doctor 5 is this bad boy. And we're departing runway 1. North, we're going to have to make that left turn. And the top altitude is 5,000. So we'll punch in 5,000 for now. We'll probably get it shortly after takeoff. And runway heading is going to be 007. On departure, we're going to want to go left off of that pretty quickly. And the IAS should be V2, which I believe is 130. All right, so that's all set. Why I believe, according to my set, we're ready for the push. Although it's saying we have no V-speed here. Why do we know no V-speed? Because it deleted it. That's right. Okay, so V-speeds are in now. 123 for V1. We are disconnected. We can request a push. So here, what's the situation? We would probably have to push on to Bravo. So we can just kind of come out this way. We will release the parking brake, and once they're ready, they can... Oh, he's not ready. Once they're hooked up, we can go. Okay, and then engine start. What did I need for engine start? Bleed on, we need engine bleed switches on, we need fuel pumps on. And we're hooked up now. So we will let them push us back. And we can get ready to start our engine. So GRD, left engine. We've got APU bleed on. Oops. Yeah, that's not what I want. Okay. Fuel pumps are on. AP bleed is on. Ignition to left. Oops. Start valve open. So it's trying to do it. Giving it fuel. Let me try turn the packs off. Okay, so packs off. That'll do it. And I could do good probably to put parking brake on. That's 26. We can go ahead and let the fuel come in. And once that pops back into off, we can throw it into continuous and start the other one. And luckily we don't have too long of a taxi out to runway 1. All right, now starting right engine. That's 20 there, so we'll give it fuel. And something is happening. So that's coming up on 57% N1. We click our gen buses. APU is now off. Or APU is now not electrical, so we can go back to off for the APU. All right, so that is good. Let's run a quick after takeoff thing. Or left-right packs can go back to auto. APU bleed can come off. Probe heat on. No anti-ice today. Wrisser can come on. Our ISO valve can go to auto. And then we're going to set flaps 5 if we haven't already. You can rarely see what I'm doing here. So flaps 5, and that might be a good view to save. And elevator trim. What did it say for us? We wanted a trim of 5.52. So 5 and change is pretty good. Okay. That's all pretty much good. We are going to taxi on out. So taxi light on. We'll turn our runway turn-off lights on as well. Pull the parking brake. And away we go. So we have 1 takeoff, 0 landings. We'll try and get 1 landing here at Philadelphia. And we're going to taxi... I guess this would be Bravo. Out to runway 1 if I can keep it on the tarmac. So thank y'all for coming along. This is our second flight of the evening in the PMDG 737. Hopefully, if you bought it, you got it at least somewhat going. It was a bit of a fight, but it is. I'm pretty impressed with the visuals, with the performance. Has been pretty good so far. Yeah, it's an in-depth airplane. It's going to take a little bit of thinking, a little bit of getting used to, but I think there's a lot to dig into, which is awesome. So we'll cross runway 4 to get over to runway 1. And now we're going to have to take a left turn. We'll see how well the LNAV and VNAV do. We can even start thinking about it. VNAV. Let's see if our LNAV and VNAV come in. And we'll go all the way over to the end. So flight directors need to come on the autopilot. 5,000 feet is okay. Let's try VNAV there. Let's try LNAV here. All right, and that's pretty well set up. So if you do have the 737, if you're flying it along with us, hope you're having a good time. Again, for someone who has not flown a 737, and I really haven't messed with the A320 that much either, to be honest. I've flown a lot of CRJ. So there's a lot more automation here, obviously. The CRJ, even when you're automated, you're not really trusting it too much. And I will try not to just ham-fistedly punch buttons in the FMS this time. If we go around, we'll just hand fly it back in. Alright, so we're about lined up here. We got flaps 5. We're going to go ahead and hold on the brakes. And bring the power up to 40. I have a tendency to go a little too high. We don't arm the auto throttle. We'll hit toga. Back on the stick. V1.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Alright, we need to make that left turn pretty fast. I don't know why it lost VNAV there. We'll see if auto throttle can go up. We'll go back up to flaps 1. And then below 220 at rev gay. Hoping we missed a P56 bust. And we're now climbing our way out to Philadelphia. So gear is up. We're waiting for, I'm going to go off of this queue here. Once we hit 200, we can go up, flaps up completely. Flaps coming up. And it's giving me a warning because my TCAS is off. So just put TCAS TARA. And away we go. Get some wing views out of Washington, D.C. So thanks, y'all, for coming along. This is our second flight of the evening in our Boeing 737-700, flying a just a quick flight out to Philadelphia from Washington Reagan, DCA. Now, our first flight, we were out of San Bernadino. We went into LAX. We had a missed approach. I fudged up the ILS, and we punched buttons until the FMS until it crashed. So we have had one takeoff, no landings so far, but we're gonna fix that now. But not quite to the point where we're getting a takeoff per landing. All right, so we're moving on out. I don't know why my auto throttle keeps popping off. I might just have my throttles too sensitive. Oh, we'll go ahead and punch in a good climb. A little fast, below 10,000, that's all right. These are all the things you work out. Before we get on network. All right, so that is rise. Let's just back it out a little bit and make sure that actually goes somewhere. It does. And just on these short flights, it's just probably best to start thinking about the approach. At B-Wine, we're going to want to be at 4,000 feet. That's 15 miles from the airport. So let's see what we have in the legs page here. So B-Wine, it has us at 3,284, which would be fine. And it should, so if we hit data, it should show me where we're trying to go. I don't know why it's not showing me the VNav. We could probably get a little more climb even out of this. So yeah, finally checking back in on the PMDG forums too. Looks like they kind of ground stopped it for service providers on the back end. So not bug related, not in-sim bug related. It was all back end, all back end service stuff. And I think a lot of airplanes, if you just punch buttons on the FMS and try to do stuff it doesn't like to do, you will crash it. CRJ does that to this day, I believe. I haven't tried it, but if you try to delete a discontinuity on the wrong page, and it'll crash. So that's 10,000 feet. We're at 275 knots or so. We're going to hit Doctor here. The only restriction is above 5,000. And then at DQO, we're looking at 5,058 is what it's looking at. So we can go back to VNav and just see what it does. It's going to try and do Mach 0.61. That's a little spicy. But we'll give it a shot. So exciting stuff. And really, yeah, install was pretty smooth. It's been pretty smooth sailing, other than my complete lack of knowledge about 737s and how they work. So, all things considered, it has been pretty good. Hope y'all are enjoying your flying, if you are flying the 737, or if you're not, flying something else. Hope you're enjoying that. You're on the special Monday night weeknight flights. Nice thing about the 737 is there are literally tons of tutorials. Volumes and volumes, hours and hours of content about them. So let's just check our speeds here. 3,000 at Oski, 173, 151 at Keeley, 1,800. And let's make sure we have the actual RNAV frequency at Philadelphia. That is going to be localizer 109.3, so 109.3. And then I guess our course would be 087. So again, this is just kind of this is very much a flight of getting to grips with the symbology, getting to grips with the controls, where all the buttons are, where all the information is. So it's a little rough. All right, let me read the descent portion too. So vertical path. So we're coming up on top of descent here. So we'll keep an eye out for the symbology. I don't know why nothing's coming in on our VFR1. Maybe we may just not have the localizer. So we'll head back to legs. We'll stay there. We want to select auto brakes. 2. Outer. I guess I should set my barometric pressure too, that might help. It was something high, like, or something low, like 3021 at Philly. So 3021. Coming up on top of descent now. 30 miles to DOQ. All right, so we do have the symbology now. Yeah, we have started our descent. so far so good. And let me just make sure I understand that diamond. How high or low? How high or below the FMC calculated path? So I guess we want that right in the middle, which is good. Speeds are coming down as well. I think we have a 240, not target speed there. And then we're just waiting for this to uncross and go into white, I believe, when we pick it up. Uh-oh, where'd that go? What happened? I want that. Yeah, okay. It's fighting a little bit now. Seems like to get down to that speed. You see, we're dipping below. We're dipping a little above the path. But it should be aiming for 240 knots. And now that we're at 240, it should start descending again. So let's try and keep the speed under control. I think that didn't help us at LAX too. Alright, so we're coming on down. So we've got landing lights are still on, so that's fine. We're at 20 knots. We could even go down to 10 if we wanted. You can see the airport off our, should be off our nose up the river a little bit. We'll come left and down a little bit more. Airplane's looking pretty bang on now. Had to use a little speed brake to get it in. And get it all the way back down to its 240 knots. So then once we have, once I get white on this, we'll go we'll go approach mode. And just try and keep that speed down. Let it come down. So our last restriction is going to be 3,000. So we should put that down at 3,000. And that should be ASCII, and then, yeah. Alright, so now we'll go to 10 nautical miles. I guess that's probably plan mode. Yeah, okay. Passing DQO now, we're still pretty much bang on. B-Wine, we want to be at 3,200. We're a little fast. This will help the plane out a little bit. Just a little bit of speed brake. All right, so we're rolling out now, 3,000 something at B-Wine. It's going to try and hit, I think, 3,200 and then decelerate. Airport's over on that side. Still no localizer. We're at 17 DME now. All right, now we're in the deceleration phase. Bring out speed brakes a little bit to help. And we're going to make our turn final. So that's 15.7, still not getting it. So I do have that one, but I just don't have the localizer. We didn't want to be at 170 here. And now we're high. Still not getting any kind of... okay, so there's something. So we've got speed brakes out. Still just fast. What are my gear retraction speeds? Oh, 270, yeah. So put the gear out. That'll help. So we're down here. We could go as much as flat 10. I got speed brakes out. I'm just not losing speed is the thing. We're still way too fast. And I think our VREF is like 130. But either way, this is feeling much better, looking much better.
1,000.
See if I can record. 130. There it is. So let's give it some speed.
Traffic.
It's yelling at me for traffic. Getting a little slow, just gently. Got 2 white, 2 red. That's looking all right. My airplane? A little low. Little low.
100. 50. 30.
Ooh.
20. 10.
Do a little bounce. We're down. Reversers. Okay, so it's CRJ style. All right. We did it. Our first landing in the PMDG DC PMDG 737-700. I'm going to be a little risky, and let's play that back. So this is when I realized it would be nice to get flight recorder going. I know, they took down the website, Nerdy. It's crazy. They said it's unavailable. And I heard it was, well, the last I saw it was like to 00 Zulu, so it was a while ago. So it was a while ago. Alright, so how many landings did we get here? I think we got 2. Because we bounced, we got 2 landings. So we're back up to a even. I'm going to count that. Not bad. It's just, yeah, CRJ is really low airplane. But, so reversers are bound to the reverse thrust binding, which is good. But overall, pretty well behaved coming in on final. We got a little low here. And just kind of floated a little. Oh yeah, we took right back off. What's that saying? 412. Alright, fine. You can't even go to the website, really. They took down PMDG's website. Oh, I can get to the website. But it is unavailable, yeah. Anthony, that's a good question. I haven't flown the Zebo, so I don't know. Uh-oh. I did something. I haven't flown the Zebo. So that is really a question for the experienced 737 drivers out there. Let's taxi on up to a gate somewhere here at Philadelphia. I do think I have a freeware Philadelphia improvement scenery somewhere here. And I don't know. Why it's saying there's a lot of symbology for me to still wrap my head around, especially on those ILS approaches. But yeah, it's going to be all about trusting the airplane. So do I go this way? Yeah, we'll cross here. We did get a little tug out in front of us. So auto brakes, I assume, can come off. I would say it feels more realistic than the 747. But, yeah, I don't have a ton of flight hours in this one either. So from that one landing on autopilot, maybe. Not that we were on autopilot, but flying the ILS pretty low down. And I haven't flown the stock 747 that much either, especially not hand flying. I imagine it floats a lot on final, but that's just a hunch. So we can make a start by bringing flaps up, auto brake off. We'll find a nice gate. And settle down. So that's a good, quick, easy flight too. If you're landing north, that is a good, a simple one that you can do. Landing north. I guess we landed east here into Philadelphia. And we'll keep working up. My goal by the end of the week would be to be doing a VATSIM flight. We will see how well the rest of the week goes, but that is kind of the hope. Yeah, Anthony, maybe. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of debate. It's just, yeah, and it's kind of two fundamentally different approaches to modeling it under the hood, which is interesting. All right, so let's park up here. That's pretty good. Park and brake on. We'll just go straight to ground power. Index. Need to go to menu. Not pushback, ground services. Oh, I gotta chalk the airplane. So how do I... Oh, here we are, chocks. Set, request. And we will request the jetway. Might be helpful to open a door. Or two. And we may be in no man's land. So we can go and do... That's okay. So let's do stairs. And we got to turn the engine off, so that would help. We do have ground power, so let's knock ground power on. And kill it. And see if everything just shuts off. So maybe that's why it's not letting me do that. No, I don't think so. Okay, so that's good. We'll get our baggage loaders too. We'll target 0. Because we want to be empty. We will target 0 packs because we want to be, again, empty. And once we have that, we can deplane. And what other service can we do? Let's get a maintenance truck out here. Where are my packs up here? Oh, did I not turn them? No, I did turn them on. Okay. So how do I start it? I don't know. Okay, cool. So that is that's our first successful flight. And as far as the nose wheel steering, there's not a separate control. I'm using the rudder now. I don't know how I seem to remember there's something about it being more configurable than that. But yeah, it will be quite interesting to hear how many copies they sell. If they ever tell us. But, I mean, I heard they sold a lot of DC-6, too. It certainly was a crush online. Let's just look through our options today. If we go to state... So, panel... Climb, cold, dark... What are our options? So, these are all our panel state options. Hangar, runway, cold and dark GPU... Taxi, okay. And then you could, I guess, save the state you're in. Interesting. Change your colors. Some FPS limits. Okay, so there's some options. Go into our equipment, we can use obviously the other. I mean, the autopilot seems like it's the big one. The auto land. There's an alternate ILS requirement. Interesting. I don't think we have any available. All right. Let's see if I can do plane real quick, and then I think that's it. Let's go back to setup. Menu, FS actions, ground services. Yeah, Anthony, you're holding out for the 800. I don't blame you. That is fair. Yeah, I have a hard time. I don't know. I might get the 800. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that different, but it is a better looking plane. So can I start this? How do I actually? Oh, so I can unload this one. Interesting. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're just messing around at this point. DC, or I've said that a couple times now. PMDG 737 is out now. Of course, they're going to be dealing with their website issues for a little bit tonight, probably, but hopefully it's back up for purchase tomorrow. I'd hope. It's not anything with the airplane, contrary to some things that have been floating around. We did have one crash on a because I was messing with the FMS, but really, it was a pretty smooth flight, and for a ranked novice with the 737, not too bad. So I'll have to find a good checklist, and we'll have to work on some stuff. And I just got to get more familiar with the symbology and some of the finer points of all these different things. But definitely a cool airplane. Definitely worth, I think, your time if you are at all interested in these airliners. So that's it for VFR tonight, everybody. Thanks for coming along on this live stream learning adventure. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying your 737 or whatever you're choosing to fly tonight. And yeah, have a great rest of your evening. Take care. See ya.